moment. But I'm going to roll through these three Thanksgiving games. Let's start here with the Bills game, and then we'll recap. I'll kind of roll through some of my picks, through these games, and at the end, I got a board here with some touchdowns and some props that I like. So I think the Bills roll in this game. I know Detroit has played really good lately. There's a possibility of a backdoor cover, but there are some players that I like inside this contest. I like Gabriel Davis, 53.5 receiving yards. He's cleared this number in 5 of his last 9 games. He's very boomer bust. Like 5 of 9 doesn't seem all that exciting when it comes to Gabe Davis, but the last couple games, 17 targets, 11 grabs, 150 yards, 93 yards, and 68 yards. I think this is going to be a boom game, a matchup here against the Detroit Lions. They've allowed the 6th most fantasy points to wide receivers, 190 yards to the position per game. It's the 4th most in football. Doesn't need a lot of catches to, get to this number. He struggled with some drops this season. There's no question, but and I know Josh Allen's dealing with some things, but I definitely like Gabe Davis in that game. And roster James Cook. Maybe don't start him this week. I think we're starting to see a change in guard. I think Singletary is still going to be the lead, but Cook has looked good recently, and he could get a little bit more run down the stretch. Pick him up, stash him. He could be a league winner for you. I really believe that, and I think we'll start to see a little bit more run from him. The other game, the Giants and the Cowboys, the second game, this is another one I think, this is probably the spread I feel the most comfortable in, and I know it's large at 9.5, but the Giants don't have a lot going on right now. A battered offensive line, damn near the whole Giants line is going to be out. This is tough. For the Cowboys don't blitz a lot, but they're going to be able to get pressure with Parsons, and Daniel Jones just not do well with pressure in his face. He's a turnover machine, and I like the Cowboys here in this spot. I don't want to get too cute with things. You're starting Pollard. I think you can start Zeke as a flex. Touchdown certainly in play. CeeDee Lamb at 69.5 receiving yards. We have him for nearly 90. I think this game could be a lot like last week where they blow him out and a lot of these skill players don't pop off. You could get a defensive score or something like that, but I do like CeeDee Lamb. You're playing CeeDee, you're playing Schultz. I wouldn't play Michael Gallup. I'd play Tony, Zeke, I mentioned, and Darius Slayton. I want to continue to give some love to Slayton. 47.5 receiving yards, 10 targets in his last game, at least 58 receiving yards in 5 of his last 6 and 4 straight, 17 yards per catch. I understand that there's not going to be a lot of time to throw the football, and they're going to bottle up Saquon. I get all that. It could happen late. There's just nobody else inside this offense that's going to catch some passes. That's it. It's really what it's about. And Slayton's been consistent over the past couple weeks, getting to this number on just 3 grabs. So that's really how I feel there. And then in that third game, Minnesota and New England, I wanted to give a little bit of love to TJ Hawkinson. TJ Hawkinson, 28 targets in his last 3 games. He is tied for the 3rd most red zone targets since he's a member of the Vikings. It's the last 3 weeks. He's got 6 red zone targets. He's got 2 inside the end zone. And Justin Jefferson's still getting his targets. He is number 1 in red zone targets over the last 3 weeks, but he's really cutting in to Adam Thielen. This is a top 10 matchup according to fantasy points allowed to the tight end position. The Pats are inside the top 10, but really a big bulk of targets for Hawkinson. 28, as I mentioned, over the 3 games. His receiving yard prop is 40.5 and his catch prop is 4.5. Both of those at points bet and plus money for Mr. Hawkinson. Here are the props that I kind of just touched on them, but I want to recap here with some of the Thanksgiving props. And these are the ones that I do like. And the one that I really didn't get into was Ramondre Stevenson. So for Ramondre Stevenson, over the last 4 weeks of the season, he has 138 receiving yards. It's tied for the 3rd most among running backs with Tony Pollard. He has 24 catches on 28 targets over his last 4 games. He has led the Pats in catches numerous times this season. Damian Harris is getting sprinkled in. He had a couple nice long runs last week. I'm sure he's going to get involved as well, but some massive receiving yard games for Ramondre over the past couple weeks, 56, 72, and 58 as well. So that's what I'm going with. And here are some touchdowns as well before we say goodbye to the football talk for now. Gabe Davis, as I mentioned, I think it's a touchdown game. I think he scores 2. I put a unit on a touchdown at plus 155. I put half a unit on 2 scores. That's at Caesars at plus 95, plus 950. You see all the books there in brackets, but use our prop shop to get the best possible odds. Save yourself a lot of time. It's a tight end day, I think, for me tomorrow. I mentioned Hawkinson and the work that he's got inside the red zone and all the targets from Kirk, and then Dalton Schultz, Dawson Knox. Really like what I saw from Dawson Knox. I think the most points tomorrow are going to be scored in that first game, Buffalo and Detroit. It's going to be a fun DFS game. I think we'll see some touchdowns on both sides. I didn't want to give Jamal Williams because he's negative money, but plus money there for a couple of those plays. And just quickly, can you bring that up one more time? The final two are long shot plays. Like Slayton is a bit of a long shot play as well. That could be garbage time. They're going to be down by a bunch of points. I think he's going to get double-digit targets one more time. But James Cook is like, maybe that game's a blowout. He's been getting run in the second half of contests, 3-1. You take a shot on him. That's BetMGM. And then Dallas defense. This is like, those final three are probably not full unit plays. Maybe like 0.25 for Cook and like 0.25 for the Dallas defense. But what I know about Daniel Jones, this guy's a walking turnover, and the Cowboys lead the league in sacks, and they're going to create havoc on that offensive line, or lack thereof.